What is going on, everybody? Happy Friday. Hope you're all having a good day. Just going to talk through this Friday night slate. I will be doing a preview show for Saturday a little bit later. Going to try to be live for Sunday, but if it's not me, I'm going to talk to Rody, one of the guys. I'm still on vacation down here, so it's a little bit hard to find the right times to get these things done, but trying to do the best we can. I think it should be back to normal around the 7th. When I'll be back, Sheets will be back. We'll have all that stuff going, and look forward to seeing you guys all then. It's early on in the day, so obviously some things are subject to change. I'm also going to do my best to be live an hour before lock, and that's the plan right now, and that I'm going to try to stick to it. So if anything changes, I'll let you guys know in the Discord, but for what it's worth, we'll go by game right now and talk through the slate. Already a lot of value on this slate. We actually got a lot of things right yesterday, a couple things wrong. There was the blowout with Golden State that kind of threw things off a little bit. But got a lot of other things really right yesterday, and hopefully we can duplicate that today. So, starting off with the Charlotte Detroit game, I really like Mark Williams here tonight. I think he's being under-projected or under-owned, I should say, more than projected. I think that as we see his minutes start to go up, we've got him at 25 minutes. He played 31 minutes in the last game. I'm not saying that you can necessarily expect that exact same thing. But I'm a big Williams believer. I believe that, if he's playing regular minutes, he should be closer to 6,500. I actually have him tagged as a core play today because I really like that play. Obviously, really hard to do anything else without knowing LaMelo, Cody Martin, and Brandon Miller's status. Assuming they all play, I think I'm just going with Williams. But Williams, I really want to emphasize, I think is a really strong play tonight. And I like him in this matchup as well, even though Detroit, Durant is, solid. But it's a great matchup for big. So I'm in on the Mark Williams play tonight. Easy on the Detroit side to like a few things. Love Asar Thompson. I think that's going to be obviously a core play for me. Probably want him at least half your lineups, if not more. I think he's one of the probably the best, easiest play on the night, assuming that everything starts and all that. We have Ivy out, Fontecchio out, and Tobias Harris at 4,900 is just too cheap with those guys out. I don't mind if you want to go beef stew here a little bit. I think that's an interesting, contrarian way of getting exposure to this game. And no issue with the beef stew thing. Just, again, center's a little bit, I don't want to say loaded, but it's strong enough to where you can consider it. But I'm interested in this Isaiah Stewart a little bit. Probably not going to end up getting there by the end of the day, but I do think that 3,400 is a reasonable price. So moving over to Orlando and Toronto, there's no way in a million years you could pay me to play KCP on this slate. I think this is like a mistake people make all the time. The only reason you play him is at low ownership. We know what the play is. It could literally be everybody out. And I don't want to game stat chase. And it doesn't mean I don't care whether he scores 35 tonight. It's just the wrong way to play, in my opinion. I don't want to just be one of those sites that says, he projects well, let's play him. No way I'm playing him. There's too many other guys out there. The only way I would play him is if, again, he was going to be sub 5% owned or something like that. I do apologize for noise in the background. Don't really have a whole lot of options here. Got a lot of family that I'm traveling with, so it's going to be some noise out there. So anyway, I think Wendell Carter would be the highest level of interest for me, but even that's not enough. So I'm probably just going to be off the Orlando. And I kind of wanted to do something just because Toronto's poor defensively, but just really nothing that I need to get to on that side. On the Toronto side, really not getting to much. I think you could make a case for Quickly. Not an ideal matchup, obviously, but that would be pretty much it for me. I don't really love anything here. I guess you could make an argument for Podol as well. But for me, this game is more of a cross-off than anything else. I'm going to bet that some people don't play from Boston, and it may not even be Jaylen Brown or Porzingis. It might be somebody else. This is the back-to-back for them. It's a tough matchup in Houston, so you'd think that they'd want to put as much of their best foot forward. But really, as of right now, nothing's showing up. I'll relook at that later today. But as of right now, I'm not getting to anything from the Boston side. And it's not a huge slate, but like I always say, I like to make a bigger slate small, and that's what I'm doing so far. Same thing with Houston. Great real-life game. One of the best real-life games we got going in the new year so far. So I am not on the Houston side at all for this one particularly. Anyway, sorry for the noise in the background, guys. It is just what it is. It's just the life on vacation. All right, moving over. If you wanted to take a shot at anybody, I think Whitmore would be the one I'd have the most interest in, but not really getting to that either. New York and KC. No interest on the New York side whatsoever. I don't know how to do anything with these price points. I guess. I mean, obviously Brunson and McBride's health is important. OKC riding the 13-game winning streak. Excellent defensive team. If you wanted to try and make a reach and play Cat here, I think it's worth taking shots on those types of plays every now and then. I think this is a matchup he could actually have a big game. I think you could make the case for Brunson too. Just for me, I'm not getting too much here. And I know I'm saying that quite a lot, but again, like I said, I wanted to make a bigger slate a little bit smaller. And same thing on the OKC side. It's not a great pace game. If you wanted to play Shea in just a competitive environment, I have no issue with that. Obviously, he's one of the best players in the NBA and certainly an MVP candidate. But I am not getting to any of it at all right now. I'm not able to play, obviously, where I'm at, but I did just, if I was playing tonight, this is exactly what I would be doing. I'm going to tell you guys. You guys know that whatever I say I'm doing, I'll be a man of my word about it. No Koulibaly tonight no Koulibaly for Washington. No Bagley. Joe Val, sure. Low ownership is when I want to play him. I think this is a matchup he can succeed in. I actually don't mind the Joe Val play, so he's probably my highest level of interest on the Washington side. Sarr, I considered it. I think you're going to see some outlier games from him where he's getting the 40+, but I don't know if you need to do that on this particular slate. Just my take. I'm more interested in the later games, along with the Detroit-Charlotte game as well. New Orleans side, I think there are some pieces here that make some sense. I've really liked what I've seen from Missy lately. Really, really strong. I think these guys are a really good player. Whether it's Missy, Herb Jones, I think that the highest level of interest I have is actually Trey Murphy. I think that there's just tons of upside for him. He's got they let him shoot as much as he wants. He's probably the one I'm the most interested in. It's Washington, so it's a great matchup. So I think Murphy and Missy would be my two favorites. Not going to argue with DeJounte or McCollum either, but I do like Murphy. I want to get ahead on. I'm still waiting for this Murphy turning into a superstar thing. It hasn't quite happened yet, but it is something that I think you're going to see in the near future. Next, stress. I don't mind using it because you can always swap your value later in the day. But 4K is totally a reasonable price for him. I just don't think that I don't know if I'd plug him in right now. But again, you can always swap because there's probably going to be some news later today that makes some difference. Again, I apologize, guys, about the background noise. Thanks, Koss. I appreciate that. Yeah, Halliburton definitely came through in a major way. But that was wild. All right, the Dallas side. Feels like we're supposed to do something here with no Luka. But as we've seen, it doesn't necessarily always go that way. I think, again, at home, competitive game against Cleveland, I like Kyrie, and that's probably the highest level of interest I have. And I really am not getting to much else. If you wanted to make an argument for Lively or PJ Washington, I'm certainly okay with that. I think PJ Washington could be successful here. So maybe you throw PJ Washington into the mix, but certainly nobody who makes the priority list for me. Then we get a really, really fun matchup between San Antonio and Denver. Castle, this is just too cheap. I know he's, sort of hitting a little bit of a rookie wall. Still love him here. Love Champagny. And with no Sohan, I think that we want to have some consideration for all of these guys. But Castle's my number one. I like Champagny number two on this side. And I guess I thought he was going to be very low on Wembanyama. I think Wembanyama is really starting to prove that we got to just sort of take shots at him every night. If you're playing 150 and you don't have 10% of him every night, I think you're making a mistake. And pretty much no matter what the matchup, no matter what the slate, I think you just have to be ahead of the field on this guy. Or not ahead of the field, but at least getting 10% of them. Tonight, I have Jokic as a core play, but I certainly could argue for Wembanyama on the other side. It's a good matchup for Wemby. So I have no issue if you want to play Wemby instead of Jokic. Really, really like that. Do like this game quite a bit. So Castle, Champagny, Wembanyama, my three favorites. Don't mind if you want to take a shot on Keldon Johnson at 4K. It's too cheap. On the Denver side, obviously, as I mentioned, I love Jokic. Westbrook has been absolutely awesome lately. I like that play. They're obviously riding him. So I think this is the game you want to stack. And the great part is you're going to have news. You'll be able to late swap a little bit. Now, it's not a huge gap between games, only 2 hours from the first game start to the last one. But there might be some late news that we don't even know about yet. We see that every day in the NBA, as you guys know. So there's stuff that hasn't even hit the injury reports yet. I like the idea of getting exposure to this last game as my core, along with the Detroit pieces. I like Mark Williams on the Charlotte side, but that's sort of like my basic core is the Denver, San Antonio, and then the Detroit value as my main pieces for this particular slate. Love the Jokic, Westbrook. Strother, I have no issue with at 3,400, especially because he's in the later game. You can always swap if there's anything else that comes up. And also maybe taking a shot on a guy like Kristen Watson for those of you guys playing large, a lot of entries. Anyway, again, I'm going to try to be there later. Sorry for all the background and everything like that. Doing the best I can. It's just hard to do these on vacation, but going to keep trying to ride it out with you guys and appreciate you guys. And Yeah, so Ryan, I hear what you're saying, but that means absolutely nothing to me. Taking what somebody does on a small sample size is absolutely not the way you should be looking at DFS. If you think that because KCP was on the winning lineups, it doesn't matter that it works. It makes no difference. It's a bad play, period. I don't care whether it works a couple times. We have a sample size of KCP of thousands of games where he's putting up 12 to 15 fantasy points, and there's other value, and he's in an early game. I just think it's the wrong play. I don't care about the results. It could do it 10 games in a row. Then maybe we look at something. But this is not a guy who's they're trying to dictate offense through. You want to play him in when he's low owned. It's got to be sub 10% for me, especially when he's 4,600, not 3,500. We've seen him bust at 3,500 with literally nobody else healthy. So I don't care whether it worked last time. It's absolutely the wrong thing to do, in my opinion. Now, if you play 150 and you end up getting to like 5% of them or 10% of them, I'm not going to fault you for that. But there's no way if I'm building 1 or 3 or 5 or 10 lineups that I'm playing any KCP. Anyway, that's just me. Good luck to everybody today. I hope you guys crush it. I did put up my core plays. Again, I'm not able to play, so I can't put up my actual exposures. And they're vacuuming in the background here. So anyway, good luck to everybody. I'll see you guys later on.